Good evening, everybody. It's your favorite EP, Pastor Jay Seals, here on Cutting It Straight. And I am so very happy to have a very special interview tonight. This woman, I was teasing her before we came on, that if I didn't know any better, if I was just reading her resume, I would swear she was part Jamaican. You know, Jamaicans got plenty jobs. But you know, this sister here is first and foremost a dear Word member. She also serves on our Elders Council here. She's served on hospitality. She's served on Word Wellness. Of course, she's an elder. She was the past president of the Bay Area Black Nurses, currently service unit manager over at Kaiser, National Black Nurses Membership Chair, independent contractor, or give some help for The Gathering, which is a nonprofit here in the Bay Area. She's a mentor, she's a motivational speaker, she's a mother, she's a daughter, and finally we can add to that list, to that repertoire, to that resume, a published author. I speak of none other than my sister, Elder Kim Scott. How you doing, love?
Oh, I'm fabulous, Seals. Thank you for having me.
Listen, I every time I look at your Facebook, you're traveling somewhere. You're either on a plane, or you're in front of folk, or you're moving with your baby, visiting family. How has life been for you through this pandemic?
You know what? Life has been actually wonderful. I mean, this has been the best 2 years of my life. And I owe it all to Jesus Christ, who is the head of my life. There's no other explanation. There really isn't. Through a pandemic, gainfully employed. Awesome. My team was able to work from home since last March, still able to not really missing a beat with patient care. We're able to provide high quality care still. I had the option to work from home or go into the office. I opted to go in the office because I need to separate the two, hard to focus.
Gotcha.
And this year I sold my condo, bought a home in Oakland, which I couldn't imagine I was going to be able to do it as a single mom, and get like the best home possible in a nice area. Become a published author, was actually wrote my section kind of in a homeless stage when I was waiting from selling my place to buying a place, staying with my godfather. So, you know, life has been unspeakable joy. And like I said, I cannot really explain it, especially in the midst of so much despair and so much loss for so many others. You know, early on, I couldn't help but to feel guilty that, like, wow, you know, God's unmerited favor, we know that, right? That grace, that mercy has really just rained down.
Wow. That is awesome to hear, sis. Published author. Now the title of this book, and from what I understand, it's an anthology. You co-authored this book. It's entitled "The Diaries of a Resilient Black Nurse." Can you tell us a little bit? There you go. Can you tell us a little bit about how that book came about?
Yes. So a mutual friend put me in contact with the leader, the organizer, the brainchild of this book. Her name is Miss Sabrina Hickman out of Wilmington, North Carolina. Our mutual friend said, hey, this woman is doing a project for nurses. We connected on Instagram. She explained what the project was. I was like, I'm in love. This is basically, you've described something that I have been in my heart to do, just didn't have the time to do it, where she really wanted to get the stories out of other nurse colleagues, of their stories of being resilient. Because as we know, as a people, there's so much that's against us, right? There's so much that we've gone through that we hold in and we don't share. And we know there's healing in the sharing of our testimonies, right? And so that's really what this anthology is a testimony of what we've gone through for the purpose of healing, for the purpose of building up, for the purposes of saying we did it and you can do it too. And that's what resilience looks like. Is basically, I don't look like what I've been through. And wow. That's what my chapter is basically. The name of my chapter in this book is His Grace is Sufficient, because through His grace, it has been more than enough to carry me through the ups, the valleys, the peaks, of my life, both professionally and personally.
Wow. Now to label this book, and we thank God for the other, what is it, other five sisters, or how many authors?
Nine,
Co-authors?
nine. It's a
Nine.
total,
Wow.
yeah, a total of 10 of
Wow.
us.
So you kind of labeled your part of this book as your testimony. How was that for you? Was that difficult? Was it challenging to kind of be as transparent as this type of book would require, or have you always been, kind of free to share where you've come from?
I would have to say that I've been pretty much open, but of course, you don't share it all.
Right.
But I do believe through sharing my story, that's going to help the next person. Again, we have so many assumptions about people just based upon what they look like, right? They look like they haven't been through anything, but when you start to hear what people have experienced, that's powerful. So I know that for a fact, sharing my story is going to help someone. And that's what I want to do. That aligns with my purpose, my purpose and the gift of helps. And so the challenge was, how do I do this? Because we were given no more than 5 to 7 pages, right? So that was the challenge.
Yes.
And where do I start? What do I talk about? Do I talk about all, like just my profession as being a nurse? Do I talk about my personal life? What do I do? And so that, I would say, was the challenge. And then the turnaround was pretty quick. I'd have to say maybe a month. We talked our first conversation to finished product on this day at that time. And so I'm on Pacific Standard Time. They're over Eastern Standard Time. And I'm like, okay, so is that my time or yours? Because then I got 3 more hours. So that was my challenge. And so I think I decided to start kind of from the beginning. So in my chapter, I talk about my childhood, and I start out with an episode in my life where I had a pretty traumatic childhood, where my mother and my father, they weren't compatible. And that played out very dramatically and very traumatically. And so I talk about that because I think that's super important for people to get perspective on where I am today, because it molded me, and it helped me to be resilient in the things that were to come.
Gotcha. So tell me, who I don't want the title of the book to how should I say this, limit the potential audience for this book, right? It's entitled The Diaries of a Resilient Black Nurse, right? But in reality, this book is for all women, and I would imagine men, when you're talking about resiliency. And sis, let me just say it, you sure enough don't look like what you've been through, and I got a little snippet of it, but right before this interview, and so I can see the impact, or the potential impact that this could have for someone that's maybe not where they want to be, or experience things that they don't understand, or they definitely don't want to have to see. So who is this book for? Who would this book help? Because I know helping is definitely, you definitely have the gift of helps. That's definitely one of the motivators and drivers for you. Who can this book help, and how?
Right. That's a great question. So this book is for nurses, Black or white, brown, whatever color nurse you are, because every nurse can relate to what we've gone through. It is for the nursing student. It's for the person who's currently in school, who's studying a majority of their time, and like, how I'm going to get through this. So this gives them a glimpse of, hey, it's going to be rough through school. You got, your profession, but here's some stories that can help to motivate you, so you won't feel alone. Right? Because a lot of times when we're going through, we feel so alone and so isolated. So this anthology is a reminder of, okay, there's some other people who paved the way, who've been through it. So if they can do it, I can do it. This book is for the healthcare administrator, that CEO, that, equity, inclusion, and diversity leader in the hospital, to help them to understand what their employees go through. This is for any organization, any healthcare organization or anyone just to get a glimpse into the life of a healthcare worker. It's for anyone. It's for that husband who doesn't quite understand when his wife leaves the house in her scrubs or in her coat or whatever, what she may be going through the politics that happens in corporate healthcare. It is for, like you said, I think it's for anyone because someone is going to relate to something in this book.
Wow. How was the process of writing this book for you? I mean, was it I know you described a little bit about the writing process, but was it a sense of nervousness? Was it just gung ho? Yes, I've always wanted to do this. Was this something that you kind of saw in your future, being an author or writing a book?
I did see writing a book, but I never knew exactly what it was. Like initially when Sabrina told me about this project, I was like, this totally describes something I've been wanting to do, but gosh, the work, the time that it takes to coordinate this, shot out to her, like big ups, because to organize 9 other people and yourself to write a book, to have them to sit down and think about, writing. I'm a novelist
as well.
Right, exactly. And she said some people were trying like, no, I can't do it right now, and she just stayed on them. But this was easy from the perspective of, oh, I just got to write it and turn it in, versus I had to coordinate, try to find out who's going to publish it, what is that editing process, and all that. So I am not, I am now a published author, but I wouldn't say I was a writer. I'm not writing endlessly and flowing and everything. If you can get me to slow down, long enough, most writing I did was in school. So I was like, so you guys, when you read this, I'm not a writer, but I am developing this craft. And even when I read it now, I'm super critical, like, oh my God, I could have said more, I could have did this. So I keep telling myself, this is just the beginning. So while I'm a co-author, one day, absolutely, I'm going to author a whole book. And just through examples, through trainings and courses that I've taken, there's a big push for people to write. I've even encouraged my daughter Sydney to, she's her dad and mom aren't together, so she'll complain, well, I have to live in 2 different households. And I said, you know what, let's write about it. They have the little books, write a story. It doesn't have to be long. You could, a book of poems, a book of, put the picture with it. So I think we think it's way more than it absolutely, needs to be. And now it's so much easier to actually publish a book nowadays. Amazon will do it all for you. So for me personally, it wasn't that hard. I had to, she gave me the limit of 5 to 7 pages. In a certain font, single space. So I was like, okay, I think I could do that. But that process wasn't super hard. And I encourage people to write and to look into it, because it's really encouraged me now that I've, done that. It wasn't so bad. I think I can continue to learn more and to actually publish a whole book.
Awesome. Well, you answered what my next question was going to be is, and that was, can we look forward to another book down the line? I already knew I had the answer in my mind just because I know how driven you are. What else is coming down? What else can we expect from Kim J. Scott in the future? What are some of the things that you're working on? What is, I don't know about you, but I've gotten to the age now where I know there's a lot less life ahead of me than there was behind me.
Right.
And with that, I take, my time very seriously. I try to be as intentional as possible with everything that I do, everywhere that I'm at. What is it that we can expect from you coming down the line?
Wow, Jay. A lot. I'm going to say a lot. And I'm really trying to, like you said, like focus, less is more and really get down to quality versus quantity. I know my passion is for the future, is for paving the way for students, I'm here for all nurses, but I know my experience and I know that we have it tougher as Black nurses, as Black students. My passion is for that demographic, is to really help them. And I'm currently in roles that position me to help the next generation of Black nurses and nurses to be around to be a mentor for, because I think that's how we grow. That's how we become stronger, is together, and to have someone who can guide you along the way. So more work for me and how I can help develop the next generation of nurses. You're going to see some more writing. And as I learn, how do I focus all the things that I want to do into, a product? Probably more post, as things change. I used to do, reflective runs, whereas my back and I got a bulging disc. I'm not running so much, I'm walking.
Yeah.
The more, social, probably, social media and exposure, education, which we currently do for nurses through the National Black Nurses Association, through some of my independent contracting and consulting. So I think that's what you can see for, from me.
Outstanding. Thank you so much for your time today, Sister Kim. Again, congratulations on the book. I need to get my copy, and I can go directly to the source, and that's not something that I can do just by myself. Everybody can go directly to the source to get their copy of the Diaries of a Resilient Black Nurse. How can folks get a signed, autographed copy of your book?
Yeah, so you can email me at Kim, Kim, at KimJScott.com. That's Kim at KimJScott.com. And just email me how many copies you want and your address, and I'll mail an autographed copy to you. Yes, you can go on Amazon to get it. However, I would not get the proceeds from that. And, we don't want to make Amazon richer. They have enough money. So, this is the work. Yeah, this is the work of myself and other colleagues. And so we really want to be able to get the most out of it, bless those. You would have it from the autographed copy from me. And so that's what I want to provide for you, because you deserve it.
I know that's right. I love the pitch too. Any final words for the people?
Yes. So final words is, again, there is power in telling your story. When you release that and you actually put it down, you'll see it's just more impactful than keeping it in your head and writing it down, because it's going to bless others. And that there is healing in telling your story, bad or good. Someone needs to hear that to help to push them forward to the next stage. And that whatever is ahead or in front of you that may seem like a barrier, with God, anything is possible. Anything is possible. And I just want to encourage everyone. It's a tough time right now. But bless somebody else by telling your story, by sharing your story, by being transparent, because through truth and transparency, we can rule the world.
No, that's right. Go ahead, sis. Go ahead, sis. That was our very own Kim Scott, now published author. Again, you can pick up that book directly from her. You can email her at kim@kimjscott.com. I think I got that correctly. You get your own autographed copy of that book, and again, we're going to work to get Kim out to one of these in-person events so we can get that book into your hands without that shipping and handling costs. Thank you so much for your time, sis. Again, the name of that book is The Diaries of a Resilient Black Nurse, co-authored by our very own Elder Kim Scott. Make sure to send that email, get yourself a copy. Again, sis, thank you so much for your time. We love you, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Thank you, Pastor Seals. Peace.